Do me a favor right now. Go to your waiver wire and check to make sure that none of these high-end handcuff running backs are sitting there. Go check for Trey Benson. Go check for Jalen Wright. Go check for Blake Corum. Go check for Isaac Guerrero. Go check for Ray Davis. And on and on and on. Those are just a few names. And look at your bench. Any of these fringe wide receivers that you're not starting this week, drop them for one of those running backs. Drop the Jerry Jeudy's, drop the Elijah Moores, drop the Calvin Ridleys, drop, I don't know who else. Just drop them all. Drop the wide receivers, pick up the running backs, stash the running backs, because the running backs are what are going to win you these leagues at the end of the year. Add them, stash them, do it now. I also want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, put your start sit questions in the comments, because we are ready to roll. Week 7 starts in 30 minutes. We got to get through these questions, get your lineup set, ready to dominate week 7, get a W. Here we go. And like I always tell to the TikTok audience, if you want to guarantee that I'm going to see your questions, because we do get a lot on TikTok, not quite as much on YouTube. So it's much more likely that I'm going to answer the questions that come through on YouTube. I'm going to prioritize those. So find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. Just go to my link in my bio. The YouTube link is right in there. It's one click. Like the show, subscribe to the channel, add your comments. And we got our first one here. Start one running back and one flex between Kareem Hunt, Zach Moss, Austin Eckler, Josh Downs, and Khalil Shakir. All right, so let's start with the running backs. We got the running backs between Hunt, Moss, and Eckler. So here I want to go with Kareem Hunt. Eckler is interesting given that it's a phenomenal matchup, and Brian Robinson is coming off that knee injury. Who knows if he's going to have the full workload? With that said, I think we got to go Kareem Hunt here over Austin Eckler and over Zach Moss. So then in the flex, we will consider Josh Downs and we'll consider Khalil Shakir. That's where it gets interesting, because again, I'm very interested in playing Eckler, even with Brian Robinson in the lineup. I mean, going against the Panthers, that's the highest point total on the game. I mean, on the slate today is Panthers Commanders, which is wild, by the way. I think we got to go Eckler there. Assuming it's PPR, because if Josh Downs had Joe Flacco at quarterback and he wasn't coming off a toe injury, I'd be like, yeah, let's play Josh Downs. I think we gotta go Austin Eckler in the flex. So we're gonna go Kareem Hunt at running back, Austin Eckler in the flex. Let's go to Dylan here from YouTube. We need to start an upside play here at quarterback is what we're looking for. Full PPR. Anthony Richardson versus Dolphins, or Baker Mayfield versus Baltimore. I think we got to go Baker. I know we're looking for the upside. I think he's got upside. He's also got a much safer floor right now. Now, of course, the full-blown upside is, of course, Anthony Richardson, because we know what Anthony Richardson can do, right? But he's really not doing it. He's coming off the injury. Baker Mayfield's the QB2 right now in fantasy football. This is going to be against the Ravens. This is going to be a game environment that is going to give us a ton of fantasy points. We want to start our Bucks. We want to start our Ravens. There's going to be a ton of points scored in this game, both in reality and in fantasy. That is going to be fantastic for Baker Mayfield. The Ravens secondary isn't playing very well right now. Start your Bucks wide receivers. Start Baker Mayfield. That Colts-Dolphins game, especially with no Tua on the Dolphins, that could be a very sloppy, gross, low scoring game. If we don't get week 1 Anthony Richardson, that game's going to be a low scoring game. It's going to be one of these, 16-10 type of games where it's gross. There's not a lot of fantasy points scored. So, of course, in a vacuum, Anthony Richardson does give us the highest ceiling. But when we really look deeper into it, we look at the matchups, we look at the way these guys are playing right now, Baker is absolutely the play here, which really breaks my heart because I was drafting a lot of Anthony Richardson this year. I still believe, but we got to roll with Baker. Bench one of these guys, Davante Adams, T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs. Ooh. Oh, we got to bench one of these guys? This is either a baby league or you're in a dynasty league and you are loaded. I mean, I guess we would drop, a bench Davante Adams, I guess, if we have to. I do think Davante Adams is going to, I think he's going to come in and get a pretty significant opportunity right away. He's got familiarity with the quarterback. He's got familiarity with the offense. I think he jumps right in. He gets a full amount of routes, full amount of snaps, full amount of opportunities and targets. With that said, this could be one of these low scoring games against the Steelers. There's obviously a chance that Davante Adams is a slow ramp up. I think it's a fantastic day for Stephon Diggs with Nico Collins out. He's getting peppered with targets. They're playing him in the slot, which is great. So he's going to get a ton of targets. And T. Higgins has been as hot as any wide receiver in the league over the last several weeks. I want to start them all, but if we had to, I think we bench Davante Adams. Just play, and I think that's just a safe play there. Let's go to Matthew, Christian Watson, or Jordan Whittington. I think we got to go Jordan Whittington. Crazy enough, I think we got to do. Assuming if this is a PPR league, we go Whittington because Whittington is probably going to give you 8 targets. He's going to give you 6 catches for 65 yards. You get those, just bank those 12.5 fantasy points. Done, right? Christian Watson can give you 3, or he could give you 20, or anywhere in between, right? I mean, I think we got to go Whittington there. If you want to play the upside, of course, it's Christian Watson, but I think just take the points. We go Whittington. This is, of course, assuming that Cooper Kupp is out. If Cooper Kupp is playing, we're going to go Christian Watson here, but it sounds very unlikely that Cooper Kupp's going to play today, unfortunately. One more week away. Let's get this one from Jonas. Greetings from Germany. What is up, Jonas? We got a game. Is it next week? No, a couple weeks away. I think we're a couple weeks away from the Germany game. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in from all the way from Germany. Appreciate that. We're going to start 3 of these guys, full PPR. Jordan Whittington, Najee Harris, Christian Watson again, or Bucky Irving. So we're starting 3. So we're definitely starting. I guess we're definitely starting Bucky. Even though it sounds like Rachaad White's going to be back, and it's going to be a possible 3-headed backfield now, which is really unfortunate. But I do think we go with Bucky here. You know what? I think we go with Jordan Whittington. I really do. I think we go with Whittington. Najee's going against, I know Najee had that nice game last week, but that was Jaylen Warren's first game back, and already Najee Harris was ceding a ton of touches and snaps to Jaylen Warren. Not a ton, but a healthy amount. He wasn't dominating the backfield like he had been prior to Warren being out, and now we got Warren with his second game back. They're going to ramp him up more. I think we go Whittington because of his full PPR, and I think we go Bucky Irving as well. Jets are a tough defense. I know the Jets gave up a bunch of rushing yards and such last week to Ray Davis, but overall they've been a tough defense to run against. And And I don't think you're losing. I don't think there's a big risk in sitting Najee Harris. So let's go Bucky. Let's go Whittington. Tyreek Hill or Amari Cooper. I think we got to go Tyreek Hill here. I think we go Tyreek Hill because I think I talked about with Davante Adams, new team, but he's got the, like I said, he's got the familiarity. I can't say that word. Familiarity with the quarterback, the offense, and such. Amari Cooper doesn't. Amari Cooper, even when asked earlier in the week, Sean McDermott wasn't 100% committed to say that Amari Cooper was even going to play in this game. He's been on the team for 5 days. So, yeah, I think Amari Cooper, in some situations, we want to play him. I think he could be, a wide receiver 3 or 4 flex play for you. But if we have somebody like Tyreek Hill, I think in this case, first game for Cooper as a Bill, I think we go Tyreek Hill. But I mean, this is a great situation for you because if this is the same team that you have Adams and Higgins and Diggs, that's wild. Even if it's not, Tyreek Hill, one more week without Tua, and then we get Tua back next week, which is fantastic. And then Amari Cooper, just, of course, it might be a slow first week or two in Buffalo, but major quarterback upgrade, major offense upgrade, major complete situation upgrade for Amari Cooper rest of season. So you're feeling good about this moving beyond week 7 at least. But for week 7, I would start Tyreek Hill. Jared Goff or Geno Smith? Geno Smith. Geno Smith is the start of the week at quarterback this week. That game environment, it's a 51.5 point total for Seahawks, Falcons. There's going to be a ton of points scored in that game, both in reality and in fantasy. Tons of points, tons of passing. Geno Smith leads the NFL through the first 6 weeks. He leads the NFL in pass attempts, and it's not even close. The next guy, the guy who is second in pass attempts, has 27 fewer passes than Geno Smith. That's a whole game for most quarterbacks. That's a whole game. We're starting Geno Smith. We're starting all of our Seahawks, all of our Falcons. That is the game of the day for fantasy football. That is the fantasy football party. The fantasy points party is happening in Atlanta today. Start them all, including Geno Smith. He's the QB7 on the year, man. Start him, start him, start him, start him. Sam is asking full PPR. Start 2, Kenneth Walker, Brian Robinson, or J.K. Dobbins. It's 2 of these guys. So we just talked about the Seahawks game. Kenneth Walker. I made a prediction on last night's sleeper show. My bold prediction. We always end that sleeper show with a bold prediction. My bold prediction last night was Kenneth Walker is going to finish the season as the RB1 in fantasy points per game. He's getting the full workload as a runner, but he is catching passes. This is a guy who hasn't caught passes very much in his first couple of years. Well, now he's catching passes. He caught 8 of 8 targets last week. That's incredible. He's no longer having to deal with like a 1A, 1B situation with Zach Charbonnet. It's now, this is the Kenneth Walker backfield, and Zach Charbonnet is a proper back running up. I can't even talk. A proper backup running back. It's no longer a shared backfield. So we're starting Kenneth Walker. I haven't even looked at the rest of the players in this question. We are starting Kenneth Walker. The next 2, we have to decide between Brian Robinson or J.K. Dobbins. So my instinct says wheels up Brian Robinson. And I do have Brian Robinson ranked ahead of Dobbins. So I am going to play Brian Robinson. However, there's definitely risk here. I do think the Cardinals are a great matchup for J.K. Dobbins. This is a great situation for J.K. Dobbins. He's probably the safer play. But there is going to be, I talked about the big point total on the betting lines for Seahawks Falcons. Well, the highest point total on the day is actually Commanders Panthers. That is mind-blowing. That is insane. But there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. And but the problem is Brian Robbins coming off a knee injury. He's been dealing with a knee injury for the last several weeks. He missed last week. He was limited in practice all week this week. He is going to play. And I want to play him here. The upside is definitely higher. But if you want, so I'm going to play Robinson. But if you want to play it a little bit safer, I have J.K. Dobbins ranked well inside my top 20 running backs this week. He's got a good matchup. You know he's going to get the workload. J.K. Dobbins is the safer play here. So you choose, do you want the upside play with Brian Robinson, or do you want the floor play with J.K. Dobbins? Cole benched Tank Bigsby, unfortunately, 2 touchdowns. It's okay. It's okay. Somebody asked me in the Yards per Fantasy Discord this morning, should I start Tank Bigsby or James Conner? I told him to start James Conner. And that second touchdown at the end of that game for Tank Bigsby really hurt me there because I feel bad. I feel bad because I think I gave him the wrong advice. Even though I do think James Conner is going to have a good game, I don't know if he's going to outscore Tank Bigsby at this point after what Tank did today. But anyway, Najee Harris or Nick Chubb. I think we do go Najee here. You know what? I'm going to pull up the rankings for this one, actually. It's really hard to know what the role is going to be for Nick Chubb coming off of that injury, especially with Jerome Ford out. So I had predicted that, when Chubb comes back, it was going to be a pretty shared backfield with him and Ford, at least for the first couple of weeks, get him reacclimated. But now Jerome Ford's out. So I think we might get at least something resembling a typical Nick Chubb role. I have Nick Chubb ranked as my RB29 this week. It's a very conservative ranking because of that, even with the great matchup against the Bengals. Now, I do have Najee Harris ranked as my RB27. I got him 2 spots ahead of Nick Chubb. So I'm going to roll with Najee here. But like I said, that's very, very close. It could, that one could come back to bite me for sure. Dalvin, I was going to say Dalvin Cook. What the hell? Darnell Mooney or Tyreek Hill. No, ask as many questions as you want, man. Ask as many questions as you want. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. This is what we're here for. Darnell Mooney or Tyreek Hill. This one is interesting. I do have Tyreek Hill ranked ahead. But man, if you want to just play the full upside, Mooney is interesting. We've already talked about that game environment. That one is interesting. Like I said, I do have Tyreek Hill ranked ahead. Man, it would be really hard for me to not play Mooney there. I might do it. That one's tough. Carlos is asking Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, or Jordan Addison. I think we got to go Addison here. I think Addison's the play. Normally, I would say Amari Cooper, but let's just get him acclimated to that offense, to Josh Allen. I think, we might see kind of a 50% route participation rate from Amari Cooper today. I don't expect him to be a full-blown role for him. Lockett is very interesting as well. We talked about him on the Sleeper Show last night as well. Again, because of that game environment, I think we got to go Jordan Addison here, though. They're playing against the Lions. That should be a lot of points scored in that game as well. So let's go Addison. Geno Smith or Joe Burrow? Ooh. I think we got to go Geno Smith here. I really do. I'm going to pull up the rankings. I suspect I might actually have Burrow ahead of him. Yeah, I have Geno Smith ranked too low here. We got to go Geno Smith. Let's go Geno Smith. I want to go Geno. Lots of passes, lots of points. Let's do it. Let's go Geno Smith there. Start 1, Tyrone Tracy, Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs. Ooh. So originally, when I wasn't sure if Devin Singletary was going to play or not this week, I originally had Tyrone Tracy ranked as a top 5 running back this week. Obviously, with Singletary now back, I pulled that down significantly. I think he's right around RB30, RB31, something like that. I can pull it up, but So this one's going to come down for me, which breaks my heart to sit Tyrone Tracy. I think we're going to go either Achane, who I love the matchup for, the Colts, or we're going to go Josh Jacobs, which is a little bit of a tougher defense, but there's going to be a lot more points scored in that game, which is going to be a lot more opportunities for Josh Jacobs to score touchdowns. So let me pull up the rankings for this one. I have Josh Jacobs ranked as my RB15, Davante Adams ranked as my RB17. Believe me, if Tua Tagovailoa was starting this game, I would have Davante Adams well inside my top 10. He might even crack the top 5. I'd be starting him over Jacobs. But I do think we got to go Jacobs in this situation. Jacobs over Tracy, Jacobs over Achane. Get this one from Eric. He's 12-team, half PPR. Start Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins at quarterback. I think we go Kirk Cousins there. We like that game environment. Let's go Cousins. I also have Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Gibbs, and Laporta in my lineup. That does kind of change the game a little bit here, doesn't it? In a vacuum, I'm going to say Cousins. But I like the stacks. I do like, you know what? So I think that's going to swing it for me. Let's go Jared Goff. Let's see how close I have them ranked in my rankings. I suspect it's close. They're both like borderline QB1s this week. Yeah, I have Cousins as my QB12, Jared Goff as my QB17. It is a tough matchup for Jared Goff. I do think Cousins is probably going to score more. But if we have a DFS mindset here, Jared Goff is certainly going to give you more upside in this lineup, specifically with those stacks. In a vacuum, it's Cousins, though. Half PPR. This one is also from Eric. Should we go Jalen Waddle or should we go Nick Chubb in the flex? For this one, I think we got to go Chubb. Like I said before, if it was Tua Tagovailoa playing in this game, I think we'd go Waddle here. But we got to go Nick Chubb. We know he's going to get at least a decent number of touches. Maybe he gets into the end zone. The Bengals defense has struggled. I know the Browns offense has struggled as well, but they might be like, you know what, Nick Chubb, maybe you can save our offense. So they might lean on Nick Chubb, even though I do think very likely that it's going to be at least a semi-limited role for Chubb today. But we're getting nothing from Jalen Waddle with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. So let's go Nick Chubb, especially in a half PPR. Coda is asking Jordan Whittington or Romeo Doubs in the Romeo Doubs full PPR. We got to go Whittington. With Cooper Kupp unlikely to play, we got to go Jordan Whittington. He's a good receiver. Romeo Doubs is not. It said Tyrone Tracy will take a bigger role than Singletary. Should I start him over Josh Jacobs? No. Nope. We are starting Josh Jacobs. We know. Here's the thing. We know Josh Jacobs' role. With Singletary coming back, we don't actually know Tyrone Tracy's role. We know he's good. We know he's Saquon Barkley Jr., but we got to start Josh Jacobs here because what I expect is going to happen with this backfield with the Giants is that Singletary we know how these coaches are. We know how the coaches are. Singletary is the veteran. Singletary is the guy that they went out in free agency and paid. Singletary has a history with Brian Daboll from their time in Buffalo. Singletary is not going to be Wally pipped. He is going to get the majority of the touches today. Now, it's not going to be quite the split that it was prior to his injury. It will certainly be closer. So yes, Tyrone Tracy is going to take on a bigger role, 100%. Not enough to outscore Josh Jacobs, though, in my opinion. However, what I expect is that over the course of the season, this is going to be a several-week thing. Eventually, Tyrone Tracy will emerge as the guy in that backfield. Unfortunately, it's just going to take some time because we know how NFL coaching staffs are with these veterans versus these rookies. They're going to make Tyrone Tracy earn it and earn it and earn it and earn it, even though we'd all say we've got eyeballs, we've watched these games. Tyrone Tracy's probably already earned it. But we know how it goes. So we got to start Josh Jacobs over Tyrone Tracy today, unfortunately. Bo Murphy Packers. Daniels or Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love for my quarterback. Man, why are you so loaded at quarterback? Not even a Superflex league? Damn. Jaden Daniels. Start Jaden Daniels. Start Jaden Daniels. Start Jaden Daniels. Running back. Jordan Mason. J.K. Dobbins. Let's go Jordan Mason. I want Jordan Mason. And then wide receiver, Davante Adams. Oh, this is a flex question. This is a really confusing question. Really confusing question. Davante Adams, Jonathan Taylor, traded away. You know, I can't even decipher the rest of that question, so we're just going to stop there and we're going to move on to the next one. All right. Hit me up in the Yards per Fantasy Discord and reword your question, and we'll help you out. I have Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Najee Harris, Nick Chubb. Got to start 2 of these guys and bench 2. All right. Start 2. Aaron Jones is a risk. Aaron Jones is a risk today, unfortunately, because that hip injury that turned into a hamstring injury. He is expected to play, but then who knows with the role? Who knows? There's a risk of re-injury, whatever. David Montgomery, we are starting David Montgomery. He scored a touchdown in 8 straight games. Keep playing David Montgomery. Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, got to start too. So I think despite the risk of Aaron Jones, I like him so much more than Najee Harris and Chubb this week. I think we got to go Aaron Jones. We start David Montgomery along with him, and we'll sit Najee Harris and Nick Chubb. All right, let's get some more questions here. We got some coming from TikTok. Like I always tell the TikTok audience, if you want me to guarantee I'm going to answer your questions, come over to the Yards per Fantasy YouTube, drop a like and subscribe, ask your questions. The link is in the TikTok bio, but we only got 4 minutes to kick off. We got to turn this up to rapid fire mode. Let's start 2. Drake London, AJ Brown, and Deontay Johnson. What a baby league this is. Let's go London and AJ Brown. Start Purdy or Darnold. I think we go Darnold. Achane or Najee. Let's go Achane. Baker or Love. Let's go Baker. Juju or Downs. Let's go Juju. Brian Robinson, James Cook, Jordan Mason. Start one of these guys. They're all injured. Let's give me Jordan Mason. Christian Watson or Michael Wilson. Ooh, I'm a big Michael Wilson guy. I love Michael Wilson. I got to pull up the rankings for that one. Christian Watson's interesting. Let me pull him up. I know he's a rapid fire, but this is too close. And this is a good question. I like this question. Why can't I find these guys? All right, Michael Wilson, Christian Watson. Oh, I literally have them back to back. Wide receiver 31, Michael Wilson. Wide receiver 32, Christian Watson. Roll with it. Michael Wilson. Let's go. Man, my heart is telling me Christian Watson, though. That's a fun game. There could be a lot of points in that game. Give me Christian Watson. Full PPR from Kyle. Pick 1, Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins. Let's go Jordan Love. And then flex, Nick Chubb, Romeo Doubs, Khalil Shakir. Give me Nick Chubb there for sure. Thanks, Kyle. Romeo Doubs or Juju. Let's go Juju. Tyler Goodson or Trey Sermon. I guess we go Trey Sermon. He seems to get more touches, probably more chance of for a touchdown. Goodson's a little bit more interesting in PPR, though, but I would still lean Trey Sermon. Jaden Reed or Garrett Wilson, we got to go Jaden Reed. Jordan Addison or Alexander Madison, let's go Jordan Addison. I like the rhyming there. Jordan Addison or Alexander Madison, that's cool. Addison for sure. Zach Moss or Algier. Algier, I talked about Algier on the Sleeper Show last night. Algier is in a great spot to be a really nice RB3 flex play this week. Let's go Algier. Let's get this one from Juan. Should I start Kenneth Walker? Yes. Over Alexander Madison? Of course. No, yes, no, absolutely. Kenneth Walker's a little sick. I don't care. A lot of points scored in that game. He's got a great role. Suck it up. Drink some water. Kenneth Walker over Alexander Madison, of course. Of course. I would take Kenneth Walker with one leg over Alexander Madison. Wide receiver 2 in flex. Wandale Robinson, Alexander Madison, Allen Lazard, Josh Downs, Tyler Goodson, Leggett, Myers. Myers is out. Christian Watson, Jordan Whittington, or Rashad Bateman. I don't know how many we're picking here. We're picking a wide receiver 2. So our wide receiver 2 is going to be Jordan Whittington. And our flex is going to be let's go with, this is a lot of guys here. We gotta cut these questions down a little bit. How about Josh Downs? Jordan Mason or Josh Jacobs? Let's go Jordan Mason. Devontae Smith or Davante Adams? Let's go Devontae Smith. James Conner, Hunt, or Achane? Let's go with Let's go Achane. We're gonna go Achane. Darnold or Love? Let's go Jordan Love. Tutu or Whittington? Let's go Whittington. And we have officially hit 1 o'clock. That means it is time for football. Strap in, watch the games, enjoy the games. I hope you all win today. And I hope that I helped you out. I hope I gave you the right answers. So thanks everybody for tuning in.